we're in a bubble. Here, we're so free and we're able to do whatever we want. We're still seeing women suppressed in so many places. So for me, I'm like, if I'm going to discuss helping women and empowering women, I want my money to go back into their pockets.
Coming into the learnings of self-love and what that means. Like, you could be very confident. I'm very confident. I'm not afraid of things. Those are very separate from loving yourself. These simple things like life is short. Do you love yourself? What is practicing self-love? All of that seems basic, but at its core, it's the deepest and most hardest to fulfill. There's a difference between the two. So I think when there's hatred between person to person, that to me is so unaligned. To stop putting so much pressure on yourself to be perfect and stop performing. And now I am who I am, and I'm much happier that way.
I am so honored to have one of my first friends in Miami. You are not just beautiful, you are smart, you are kind. You are also a lawyer. You also have a female-led law firm, and you are quite literally everything I want women to be. So I'm like overwhelmed that we finally were able to make this happen. Thank you for being here.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I was one of your first friends in Miami.
Yeah, you,
Wait.
Christina, like that whole crew. Because I moved here in the summer and I was like, I don't know what to do. I have no friends. I don't know what's going on.
Honestly, Miami has the best women. I always say that. Like, everybody here is so aligned and so great.
Yeah.
But I'm honored to be here because even before, like, you're cool as hell separately, but before we became friends, I followed your content for so many years.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you said that, and you were like, "Oh, I actually like followed your content." I was like, "Yay, thanks!"
Because it's just it's like so inspirational, so aligned, and I think that a lot of women who are in certain positions can listen to it and feel like, I just always felt like it spoke to me at the right time. But then you're cool as hell too. So I love that. I love women who like have both sides to them, like funny, the duality.
Yeah, which is why we are all quite literally pulled to one another and magnetized towards one another.
Exactly.
Why? Tell everyone why you got into what you do now, what your mission is, what your agenda is. Like, who are you and why do you do what you do?
So it's super interesting. I was never one of those people who was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And
really?
No, I kind of backed into everything, but everything just happened to fall into place in the right way.
Okay.
So I honestly even backed into law school. I didn't know what I wanted to do after graduation. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to law school because of all of those reasons, like job security, and I'll be, I'll have a good career, etc. And so I went through all the right jobs. I was at Goldman, I was at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and then at my last job, I got a big law job. And I was like, I just can't do this. This is not what I was meant to do. I couldn't care about things I don't care about. I always say I'm a great employer, I'm a bad employee. Like, I have to be aligned in what I want to do.
Same.
I think all of us are like
very much so.
Yeah, like we could employ, but we have our own vision on things. Yeah. And so at 29, I decided to quit. And
at 29, which is actually a very considered to be wild step for a lot of people at 29, especially as a woman.
Yeah. And so I was in New York City, a minority, a woman in a predominantly male-dominated field. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a beat and figure out what I want to do. Do I even want to do law? What am I really passionate about? And then I just was like, okay, let me take some clients here and there, because I had so many friends. I had built such a strong network, and they were asking me, hey, can you take a look at this contract?
Like I do with Raquel all the time.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, let me not be bootleg about this. So I created a website and started marketing on social back in 2019. This is a long time before businesses started marketing on social.
Yeah.
I was super fearless, super shameless. I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Like it don't. And at the time, it was only like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Yeah. Barely Instagram.
Barely. And so from that, I just started growing and growing. And then I hired my first 2 people, and everyone was like, oh, you're the all-female law firm. And I thought about it, and I'm like, let me think about this from a branding perspective. Like, what is it that's missing in the legal field? It's open communication. It's people who feel like they can trust you. And I thought about it, and I was like, all right, let me find all of the gaps here. I was virtual before COVID. I always took, and I just talked to people in a way that they could understand. And from that, I started building more brand, and I realized that what I'm really good at is sales. And so a lot of people don't realize this. When you run a business, a lot of what you do is sales.
Correct.
And whether that's marketing to bring people to you or if that is outreach. So we do mostly marketing based on our socials and just the lifestyle.
Yeah.
People want to work with who they want to work with.
Yeah.
And so even though, there's hundreds of lawyers in New York and all over, we've been able to grow, and we've been in business now for 7 years, which has been really exciting.
That's not only exciting, it's something that women think is not possible until they see someone like you doing it. But it's so interesting because as time has gone on and seeing the way women are being treated all over the world still, like we're in a bubble, right? So here we're so free and we're able to do whatever we want to many degrees. And we're still seeing women suppressed in so many places. So for me, when I'm spending money, I'm very, very neurotic about where it goes, to the point where I'm like, it needs to go back in women's pockets. Like my dentist is a female, my lawyer is a female. The brands I purchase from are typically, not always, female owned. Even my toilet paper. I was like, why am I going to give my money to Shermin when I can give it to this other brand that's female founded and bamboo based? Like,
wait, which brand is this?
I'll send you the link. It's crazy. It's like I really got crazy about it because for me, I'm like, if I'm going to discuss helping women and empowering women, I want my money to go back into their pockets. Like even Etsy's all small female founded brands. It's all these like young girls or older even trying to build businesses, and they don't have marketing dollars. So instead of buying mass produced candles, why not put it into the pocket of a young girl so that she can feed her family or go to school, And if we think like this, and if we hire lawyers that are female, not just because they're female, but also because they're great, we're doing our part to all rise together, essentially.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that I was trying to fill a gap of what I didn't see out there and really be more of a role model for me. People ask me like, who is your biggest mentor? I was like, I honestly didn't have one.
Yeah.
I was just kind of going for it. And one of the biggest pieces of value that I have from the client perspective is that I represent the underrepresented founder. So somebody who doesn't feel like they have access to legal services, or that it's too expensive or just not available to them.
How did they find you? Like social media.
Social media.
Interesting. But they probably perceive you to be too expensive when they see you because of the way you look.
Well, I appreciate that. But that's another thing that we do. We do flat fees. So like, what's the biggest thing that you always feel like when you're going to hire a lawyer or an accountant, you're like, okay, how much is this going to cost me?
It's going to be expensive because they are.
They are a lot of times. But one thing that I thought about again with the problem is, where is the transparency? If I offer flat fees to people, they know what they're paying for. And startups, every dollar counts. Like you've had a startup too. You don't want to spend a lot on legal because you're spending a lot on marketing and branding. So then I come in either as a legal partner. If the company is somebody that I'm really aligned with or a friend of mine, I'll sometimes come in for like a point of equity. And
Smart.
be a legal advisor throughout. And also that people who are afraid, women are often more cautious when it comes to funding. I think it's interesting because I love that women are banded together. I feel like if we actually continue to do this, we're going to rule the world eventually.
I mean, I love men. I think men are incredible. I plan on being married to another one, but it's very clear that they're not capable of running things right now.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm seeing this pattern and I'm just thinking to myself, I don't think this would happen if women were in these positions. I just don't. I don't care. Anyone can annihilate me for this statement. I am not the feminist that hates men. I love men, but it's just not working out.
No, trust me. People are like, you're such a girl boss. Like, why don't you hire men? I'm like, I love men. Trust me.
We do. We really do.
Yeah.
Just before we got on this podcast, we were saying how much we love men.
How much we love men. But one thing I'm trying to do though is that there was this big all female kind of movement that's been happening, and I think that was necessary.
Yes.
But now I'm trying to really bring men into the conversation. When I go to networking events, and especially if it's people who are raising capital, I'll hear guys and they are throwing out numbers, asking for millions, just have
ruthlessly. They don't care. They have the self-respect and the consciousness of, if this guy can do it to the left of me, I can do it.
Right. And they just know how to ask for things. Whereas women, they have all their T's crossed and I's dotted. They are like, this is what I need. And they come from a more cautious approach. I think if women are surrounding themselves with men in that respect, just to kind of learn and observe, it kind of eliminates some of those limiting beliefs. So I'm telling women all the time, like, bring men into the fold, aligned men, to understand a little bit more about how they run, because that energy is so important when you are raising capital, when you are starting a
It's
business.
the yin and the yang.
Exactly, the duality. You could be, it doesn't mean that you're masculine. It just is something that you're observing from the energy of money and love and everything. There's different lines of energy. But if you have that visibility, you can actually start, putting that into your business and seeing how that grows.
Beautifully stated, by
Yeah.
the way.
And I think that's why a lot of women are underfunded, because they're too cautious. They're leaning into one side.
For the first time ever, I hosted like a YPO style mastermind with Brittany
Ooh.
here, actually at the Move.
I saw
last
photos
week,
of that.
and it was mostly men. And it was so powerful because I had never been with another woman in business that was leading something like this with a bunch of insanely successful men. And the energy dynamic, the balance of us bringing in the feminine with the masculine in terms of business was really cool because they received it so well. I said to them, this is the point of being here, is to be vulnerable of what you need within your business, but also how you can add value. And I think quite often in these business settings, if you will, it's just money, numbers, this, that. And it's like, wait, hold on. Like, what's our mission here? What's our agenda? How can we also give and take? Where's that yin and yang and that 50-50? And that's where, if you can meet those people at an aligned level, the masculine and the feminine come together in a really beautiful way.
And that's what I love that, actually, because you and Britt are like so you're like the femme fatale, like ultra feminine, beautiful women.
She's so cool.
And then you guys are coming in and like teaching men, but the men are great too, because they're wanting to learn, and it doesn't matter who it's from. I think that's the shift that I'm seeing a lot, is that men are like, you know what, women are, if not smarter, but just as smart. We can learn from a different perspective.
Sure.
And it didn't matter. Like, they were just there to learn from you guys. And I think that's incredible,
It was
because there's
really
a lot
cool
to learn.
It was really cool. I mean, there was 2 billionaires at that mastermind, and they really got vulnerable about what their mission is and why they do what they do. And it was so cool to see the other side of, like, yeah, okay, you're insanely wealthy, but what's the root? Like, what's your end goal? Where are you going to go with all this cash? Like, and they were like, oh, we want to help children. I want to do this. My mom was sick. She died from a bed sore. So now I'm going into hospitals and helping other people. I was like, phew. And one guy started talking so much about it, because I felt like I was like in a therapy session, because no one had asked him.
I was like, I needed to go to this event.
No one asked this man. And he's just like sitting there and has all this inside of him. And he's like, this is why I'm even doing this. I don't think anyone's ever even asked him, why do you do this?
Wow.
It was really cool.
Well, I think a lot of times, like, men are very, into the numbers and the growth, but the why is really important. And I think that's like what you felt comfortable with. It's been interesting to watch your story too, because like, you're so spiritual and aligned, but you came from like a strong business background and like scaled companies and sold companies. Or a company. So it's like,
I didn't sell that.
Oh, you
company.
didn't sell it. Okay.
I operated it with my ex-husband.
Yeah.
And when we got divorced, he was never passionate about beauty products. He wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to sell beauty products. And I was like, hello, you're sitting on a gold mine. You should probably care.
Yeah.
But after we got divorced, he's really talented at operating, whereas I failed college algebra twice.
Yeah.
I hate numbers. I hate math. I'm really good at education, explaining, developing, missing gaps. That's what I'm good at. But after we got divorced, he's like, I love you, but I really don't care to do this. So we ended up just white labeling it.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm like, okay, that business side was so beneficial, because now I can help people who are so passionate about building businesses understand their why and come from a spiritual lens of business. Because if you always have roots, if you have that foundation, you really can do anything. But if you're just out there stabbing in the dark aimlessly, you're going to feel empty and you're going to feel depleted. How many founders do we know that feel like that?
Always. I think if your only mission is money, or even if it's like ego or safety or whatever it is, that's an internal issue, you're never going to be fully satisfied. No. I think that having the bigger why is so much more important. I'm still honestly trying to figure that out for myself. I feel like there's a lot of things that I wanted. I think I'm in a transitional period. So I knew what my why was the last 7 years. So definitely, changing the perception of what it means to be successful. I like to be a juxtaposition, like I mentioned. So like I like to be ultra feminine in a masculine field. I like to be funny and out there and travel, even though I should be in an office and super serious. And I like to just eliminate like these types of limiting beliefs. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
now as I'm transitioning into like, I want to say it feels like a next chapter is happening for me. I was actually journaling about this today. I'm like, I know something is changing. I just don't know what it is, but I'm kind of like mentally preparing myself. I'm finding what my next why is. Is it the fact that I love to, I'm finding that like one of my zones of genius is finding the thing about people that they feel like they can't figure out or what they're not confident in and bringing that to light and making them feel like they can do it.
Same. It's the
Exactly.
best. It's the best when everyone has a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a gift, and if that is your gift, you can spot it in other people. And if they don't see it, you can help literally pull it out of them. I mean, that's what coaches do.
Right.
That's literally what a coach does. And I think, Christina's so passionate about like Chinese astrology and Year of the Snake ending. I mean, that ends today.
Is it today? Yeah, it's
The
today.
16th.
I felt it. Honestly, I was like,
Me
what is this?
too.
Yeah.
Like crazy. It's the fact that you're like, I feel like I'm in a transition period, and it's literally today is the transition from, it's a very, very, very
I wonder what time it's
heavy
at.
transition in a powerful way.
You know what I was thinking about and when I was journaling is that I don't want to settle for anything anymore. Like sometimes we're talking about energy lines. I have no limiting beliefs when it comes to money, business, anything is possible for me. I know it. And my astrologist says it's interesting because you don't have
You
that
have an astrologist?
Oh my God.
Who?
Gee, she has been my astrologist for 8 years.
Shut up. I need her contact.
We like grew up together.
No way.
And
I can't believe you're just telling me this now.
She's in Australia and I met with her and we meet probably twice a year. She's actually doing her
That's what I would do twice every 6 months.
Yeah, every 6 months.
Yeah.
But like she knows me to my core and has seen so many different stages of my life.
Beautiful.
She's amazing. And she just is like, I've seen her transitions in life.
Yeah.
It's almost like a therapy session. I have this one video where I was like, I don't know who I am sometimes. And she's like, I'm going to tell you who you are.
Oh,
and she just read me. And I was like, you're right. That is.
You're like, damn, you're right.
I needed that. She's great. But she was like, it's interesting because love has the same line of energy as money, but yet you find certain things that you want to settle with or allow limiting beliefs there. And that's something I'm not going to do anymore. My whole life has been all about like taking things, like I want to leave this life kicking and screaming and having experienced everything to the fullest. And so that's what I thought of today. I'm like, I'm kind of negotiating things in my mind of what I want in terms of partnership, but I'm not going to do that. I want romance. I want the extremity. I want all of that. I'm an intense person and I want that back. Why am I going to limit myself in anything? And I think
I could cry right now because I think you heard me on the phone with my mom.
No, I didn't. I was just I was touching up with this lighting. I was like,
we give so much and we do so much and we share so much love and we take care of our vessel and our bodies and our faces and we are doing the most and we are operating on all cylinders.
Always. Especially you.
Deserve it all back.
Exactly.
Everyone can do, I actually was just telling a guy I'm dating, I was like, everyone can do whatever they want. You can do whatever. I will never tell you how to be, but you can't do whatever you want with me.
Ooh, I love that.
You can't do whatever you want with me. This is where I'm at and I give and I love so deeply and you're the same way.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that back, it's just not, it's not it. I actually want to share something. I wasn't going to share this because you never know who's listening, but something really interesting happened with Shermin, I would say about a month and a half ago.
With who?
With you.
Oh, with me.
But not with you. It's about you, but with someone else.
Oh,
I told you this already on the phone. I was dating someone.
Oh, right.
And who also happened to be a lawyer, incredibly smart, good looking, by no means anything to do with him. But there was a moment where I felt like I was minimizing Shermin's success to make him feel better because I'm such a pusher. I mean, I'm literally a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
My whole agenda is to make people be the best versions of themselves. Whatever they decide to do with that is not, I'm not God. I'm not a Jordan. Cut the camera for a second. Jordan, you have to be quiet. I love you. My job is not to play God, but I think my mission in life is to show people what's possible. And something really interesting happened. I had mentioned Shermin to him in a conversation, and I had said, this woman is so inspiring. She's also a lawyer, and she's also like this, and she has a firm, and it's all female led. And he said something, I forget what it was because I kind of blacked out. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. He said, well, she's not like that much of a lawyer anymore. Now she's just doing a lot of like marketing or something of that
Right.
nature. And it was in that moment that I realized, wow, this could actually never work, because I had minimized a woman that I admired and respected so much.
Oh.
And hold on, Jordan, you have to go outside. You have to go outside. You have to go outside. Go outside. I love you. No, you have to go outside. It's charged. Go sit on the couch, baby. I love you. No, I was just in a deep conversation and you were making a lot of noise. Go sit outside. I love you. We'll go get chicken nuggets after. Yes, baby.
Chicken nuggets.
Good thing for good editors. Sorry, guys. Honestly, I wouldn't even cut this out. I would just keep it and be like, it's President's Day weekend. This is just the situation.
Oh, he's so cute.
I realized during that moment that so often as women who are powerful, who work a lot, we bust our freaking asses to make things happen. And then we will minimize our success to make someone else feel comfortable. And it was literally that deciding factor. Like, I was just like, this will never work out.
And not me the cause of your breakup.
But it was like,
not knowingly.
Still, like for me, it was just like, this is a non-negotiable. Like, these are non-negotiables.
Well, it just goes to show you that, like, even somebody who's in a traditional field like myself, like, you don't have to have these limitations, and people build them on themselves. So it was more of just, not about the career. It's just the fact that he was probably just being like, well, it's because of this, which is why I can't do certain things. Correct. Or why she gets to do certain things. People
Correct. And you know me, I'm
that.
like, anyone can do whatever they want.
Anyone can do anything they want.
She just woke up one day and literally decided, I don't want this life anymore.
Right.
That's it. It's a decision.
Exactly. And life, I've been thinking about the phrase, as simple as it is, life is too short. And sometimes I'm like, life is actually kind of long. I lived 100 different lives so far.
Same.
But if you think about it, like the limits that you put on yourself, that's completely your own doing. You can change anything. So when I decided to quit,
especially living in a free country.
Exactly.
Especially.
And it's just like you said, we're born into certain things that we get privileged to do so. And my parents are super supportive. So they're entrepreneurial as well. So when I told them I was going to quit, they're like, all right, well, no one can take away your education. Worst case scenario, you just go back and get a job. That's it. So why not take the risk on yourself? I think we allow the constructs of society to tell us certain things like, you have to do this or you have to do all the right steps. But who made that up? No one made that shit up.
No one made that up.
It's just us believing that to be what's right. And I think that goes not only for career, but for marriage, for children, all of that.
Correct.
The fear mongering that we have at certain ages. Like, I think probably my biggest insecurity has been my age. And like, I think that's been something that's been bothering me. People have been asking me, like, how old are you, in two settings, whether I'm too young to be running a business or qualified to be what I'm doing.
For sure.
Or I'm too old for, a relationship or children or any of that.
Or guys want 22 or 23-year-olds, but that's
your frontal cortex isn't even developed until 26. All right. What kind of guys want that?
That's not always the case. That is the case for some, but that's not actually the case for everyone. When you're moving through life, this is so powerful. I actually just spoke about this in a seminar. When you are moving through your life, you have to remember people are seeing everything through their lens and their perspective. So when someone's putting their limited beliefs onto you, that is not actually for you to hold. It's not. So for someone to say, oh, you're beautiful, but you're a little older, guys in New York City want women that are like 22, 23, because they're easier to like be with and they're easier to just hang out with. Maybe some. Okay,
but it takes one.
That's not for me.
Right.
You're too, young to have a law firm. Like, you're just not that experienced. There's women that are a lot more experienced and they have like counterparts that are male. Okay, but that's not my situation. So it's just
Exactly.
through their lens.
And leaning into that, even what you were saying about the fact that, you're a pusher, like that sometimes has a negative connotation, but you can actually be like, you motivate people to be the better person. What's interesting is that the men get their energy from women, women get their energy from nature. But the hallmark of a very successful man is the woman that's next to him.
Correct.
I think Gen Z understands that a little more. They
Yes.
understand that, their way to success is by having the right partnership and not wasting time. Millennials are getting there, but there's still that older mentality of, oh, my version of success is having like a young girl by my side to prove something. And that's not masculinity, that's ego. So I think there's a little bit of a difference there. And I think with women, I've been finding a lot of women feeling like I have to be more feminine. Like that's the narrative that's happening now. I think that there's a duality. Like I think I present very feminine, but I do have masculine traits and I love that about
Yin and
myself.
yang.
I'm going to lean into that, even if there is somebody that there's this aspect of me that when it comes to dating or other parts of my life, I try to be subdued. I don't think that's authentic to who I am. So even if there's somebody who is maybe being wishy-washy, I'm just going to tell them directly like, hey, if I'm interested in you and, we want to progress this further, you have to make a little more of an effort. And this is what I need. No one's a mind reader here. And putting the ball in their court. And I think that right there is being feminine.
I literally just learned that lesson this morning.
Yeah, you just got to tell them what you want and put the ball in their court. Lean back.
No one's a mind reader. I feel like this is a channeled message for me specifically right now.
Yeah.
Because I was literally told that this morning. Liz, no one's a mind reader. What is understandable to you may not be understandable to others. And because I don't try to coach people in my life personally, sometimes it'll just be, how did you not know that?
Yeah.
But no one's perfect and no one's a mind reader.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. Like women saying what they want is not masculine. That is actually the most feminine to me because you're actually setting your boundaries and saying, hey, this is what I need. Are you going to be there to deliver it or not?
And if not, that's okay.
Yeah, it's
totally
just not
for
okay.
me.
Exactly. And then on to the next. Rather than sitting and waiting, I don't like that energy. And in my life, I've never waited for anything.
Nothing.
I've always
Nothing.
pushed to get what I want. Everything takes effort. Business, money, love, friendship, whatever it is. It's all a job. It's all work. And then you get so many benefits when you put your energy into that. So
what is the worst thing that you've ever been through that perhaps brought you, because you speak such spiritual language, and I know you personally, so I know that you have so much spirituality within you that sometimes the way you speak, I feel like it takes people a really long time to get there. And for you, it's just natural. What's the worst thing you've ever been through, if you don't mind sharing? And how did you get out of it?
Yeah, so I think the thing I've always struggled with is, surprisingly, it's a bit of self-worth when it comes to love. I think my parents have always been really supportive.
They're still together?
They're still together. They've been super supportive in everything I've done, but I've always had a chip on my shoulder that I felt like I needed to find my own safety within myself. And I would always kind of negotiate with myself on what I deserved. So when it comes to career, I pushed myself because I wanted to create safety in, my world, my finances, my opportunities and experiences. And in love, I would settle because I would say, okay, like this is good enough. I have my guard up enough for me to be safe in what I want to do and to have that love. But I kept going for the wrong people, or they left me. And it's kind of like the men who were like, oh, I'm paying for her stuff. I'm doing everything right. Like she's never going to leave me. And they leave the woman. So I was doing enough in terms of being that nice girl, never, hurting anybody, never fighting, never saying what I wanted. And so 2 years ago, I started dating somebody that, was the perfect person on paper.
On paper.
And everything was going really well. And then he up and left me without a word. And that to me was like a slap on the face from God, being like, let me show you exactly what you don't want. You keep settling for things. And, he left me with all financial, logistical responsibility of his stuff, apartment, everything. And it really was the core of abandonment for me. And from that, I think I just started to really focus on work and put my guards up even higher. And what I've been learning over the past year after moving to Miami, things all happened for a reason. I was pulled out of New York, brought to Miami to take a step back. I think all of the learnings I learned from our friend group and just being in a place that feels so spiritual. Miami's a spiritual place. I mean, it's like dark and
Very.
light, but it's the light
Well,
part
with
of
a
it.
lot of dark, there's a lot of light. With a lot of light,
Exactly.
there's a lot of dark. It's the duality.
Exactly. So I used to come here for the dark side. Now I'm
Yeah,
here for the light
of
side.
course, we all did when we were younger.
Exactly. And so,
Before we had to learn.
and yeah, it's all of the learnings from people like you and our friend group that have made me realize, there are things. I had my walls up so high. People can feel that. And so finding safety and learning from that has been something that is honestly going to be a lifelong journey, but coming into the learnings of self-love and what that means. Like you could be very confident. I'm very confident. I'm not afraid of things. Those are very separate from loving yourself. You know what? It's interesting. People are like, do you love yourself? I was always like, hell yeah, I do. Like, look at my life. But then you really think about it. These simple things like life is short. Do you love yourself? What is practicing self-love? All of that seems basic, but at its core, it's the deepest and most hard things to fulfill is those simple things that you teach, that people teach.
Yeah. And I don't think we come here with a soul correction. Have you heard of this before? In Kabbalah, it's called tikkun.
Yes, we talked about this.
Yes. So we all come here with a soul correction. My soul correction is very different than yours. Yours is different than his. It's just, this is what we come to correct. And we feel it like at a cellular level. Okay, that something's not 100% right. How do I know? You don't know unless someone tells you, hey, here's the knowledge, here's this wisdom, here's how to understand who you are so you can become the most evolved version of yourself. For me, mine was reactivity. I used to be so reactive, and I'm so proud of myself now for honing in on that, because
I would have loved to know you as reactive.
I know. You know what's sick?
I'm so toxic. I'm like, I wish that you were still reactive. I love that. I was like,
Sahara was
I'm
like,
a
I
popcorn
kind of
girl.
actually would have loved to see you pop off.
Me too, because that stuff to me, because I'm an Aries moon, so when someone else pops off, I am ready. I'm like, I'm right here in the back, like the little one.
Like the feisty one in the back. That's like,
oh my God. I went on a date with a guy and he asked me something. He's like, what makes you angry? I was like, honestly, when someone is mean to my friends, I will lose it.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I used to be so reactive, but the truth is, you don't get what you want by acting like that. You actually can see everyone for exactly who they are when you pull back, and you don't have this lens of trying to control it. My ex-boyfriend, I remember I was thinking to myself, had I released the control, had I not tried to change him and make him see his behavior was so toxic, I would have seen him for who he was, and I would have been at peace with it instead of trying to save him from his behavior. And now I'm just like, wait, let them. Just let them.
I think the beauty is that changing from being reactive, because I was generally a reactive person too. And I think that was a lot of like this, safety. And I'm a little reactive. But
you're human.
Yeah. But also I think what it is that now I balanced it back to just saying the truth and saying how I feel and not being afraid of that.
Yes. It doesn't mean you have to be a robot. This is not about being a robot.
And I don't care about if, being the liked one. I'm also I'm going to say how I feel and say how it is.
And communicate.
And just be honest. So that's like a bounce back from reactiveness. I remember this story you did, which still cracks me up, when you were listening to the couple about the ranch dressing.
Stop.
Where you were like, this couple was like, why don't you like this ranch dressing anymore? How are you going to switch up the ranch dressing?
This is actually,
on me?
Like,
this
knows
needs to
I
be a
have
TikTok.
have close friends on Instagram, which I actually post more on than regular.
Hilarious.
That's like, oh man.
You're like, I was the ranch dressing like culprit. I would be like, why are you switching up the ranch dressing on me? What does this mean for the relationship?
I was in Trader Joe's.
I literally was at Trader Joe's, like cackling. By the way, you and I are the only people who shop at Trader Joe's.
I love
Still,
Trader Joe's.
Today,
I think it's fantastic. I was at Trader Joe's. I'm just like, like walking with my cart, minding my business. But I'm very, I feel people's energies a lot. And I hear, like, I'm constantly like, the Middle Eastern in me, like I always know what's going on around me. I'm always very hyper aware and sensitive, because if I hear something drop or if I hear like a potential gunshot, I'm like, I'm very, very heightened in awareness.
Potential gunshot.
So I hear people's conversations all around me and I choose to zone out. But I heard this one really, really loud because I was cackling. It was this really cute gay couple, and he was like, oh, do you want this brand of ranch dressing or this one? And he's like, oh, I think I want that. And he's like, what do you mean? This is the brand this is our brand. And he was like, I don't know. I think I want the other brand. He's like, oh, we're just gonna switch up the ranch dressing. And I was like, wow, thank God I'm single right now. And then I thought to myself, like, wow, I was that person. Like, how are you gonna switch up the ranch on us?
See, but it was so funny because I was like, I would listen to that and be like, honestly, like, why would you switch it up?
How could you switch? This is our brand.
You know what's so interesting is that me being the person that I was, I would have not said anything. Surprisingly enough, I would have not said anything. I think my biggest tikkun, going back to that, I think a lot of people here for like how to earn like relationships with money or relationships with business or self-worth, all of that. I think mine is self-love. I've always wanted to have a platform. And I was thinking about this today. I was like, women lawyers and students and women in business, I get probably 5 LinkedIn messages a day, people saying how much I've inspired them to do something. I went to speak at Miami U Law and a girl came up and she's like, I went to one of your mentorship sessions and I'm here today because you told me to show up to places. And that to me fills my cup so much. And I thought that would be enough. But then there's still parts of me that I'm feeling a little empty sometimes. I wanted a lot of money in my career. I've made, things turned out better than I could have even imagined. Like I'm super secure in that, but is that enough? And I think now it's coming to the point that my tikkun is finding love within myself, as simple as it sounds. It took all of the other things for me to get, thank God, to find that that's what was missing. And like, that's the whole thing about not settling. But to talk about the ranch dressing, if I feel some way about the ranch dressing, I should speak up and say it.
You should.
And that's my new thing.
As long as it's coming from love and not fear, because even fear comes from love, right? Fear of being too far away from it, fear of not experiencing it, fear of not having it. Even fear comes from love. So when we come from a place of reactivity, it's actually fear. And if people understood that, they would react less. They wouldn't be as negative. They wouldn't fire off on people because they would understand that it's actually coming from a place of uncertainty, and uncertainty and fear is the opposite of love. And what is God? God is not an old man in the sky with a white beard. God is energy, and we are just fragments of energy. So if we understand that, we can use energy for good.
How did you fix your reactiveness? Like, do you have to have some self-talks?
I did so much work. Actually, Raquel was the one that was by my side through everything. And for those who don't know, Raquel is also a lawyer.
I can't believe I haven't met her yet.
I know. And she's very similar to Shermin in the sense that she's strong, smart, beautiful, super down to earth. And she's actually my soulmate. Like, I think friendships are soulmates as well. It's not just a counterpart, a significant other. It's friendships, it's animals, it's children. And she is quite literally a soulmate for me. And I have always been the one to give and to have everyone in my home and always show love. And there was a time in my life where I was so low and I was so not myself. I didn't work for 4 months.
Whoa.
I didn't make any money. I've never been depressed or had anxiety like this in my life besides postpartum, which I didn't even know I had. But this was one of those things where it was just so bad. And she was the only one that stuck with me through everything. And it was through having a female in my life like her that I understood, because she was so direct and because it came from love. Hey, this is where your weakness points are. This is what's happening. And it was through her that I was able to really understand myself. And then I dove back into my roots, and my roots is Kabbalah. I come from a spiritual lineage and I never really tapped into it. I understood it and I was proud to be from it. And when I'm in Israel, it's an honor, it's kind of like coming from the Buddha of Jewish people, and people look at you differently and they feel you differently because they know that you have power. But I didn't understand my power. And because I didn't understand my power, that's why I was reactive. Because again, reactivity comes from fear and lack of certainty. So it was someone who brought me back to myself also caused me the most amount of pain and the most disgust I ever felt in my life. But from that came such beauty. So I was able to take the learnings and actually use it to better myself. And isn't that the whole agenda? Like, isn't that the purpose, like instead of looking at it from victimhood and poor me, I'm nice, I'm pretty, and I work hard. Why would I be treated like that? Okay, well, why is this happening for me? So I can use it to then in turn help others, because now I've created immense success from pain, which is not always, the best, but this is my
But it's real.
purpose. It's real.
And thank God you were open to constructive feedback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you trusted her, obviously.
Yeah. But also I have my stuff for sure. But one thing I think is one of my superpowers is if someone says, hey, you should actually work on this, I don't think anything's by chance and nothing is by accident. So if someone is saying it from a real place, you should listen to it always.
I always am like that too.
Always.
I'm really good at taking like direct constructive feedback because it's like no one's perfect.
Correct.
But I love that you, like one of the reasons I follow you or followed you for so many years before we became friends is I love the teachings of Kabbalah. And as someone who's Muslim, I know that's like interesting because there's so much separation between that. But I do think what's great about you too is that it's about spirituality and you can find beauty in any teaching. And so I love even like hearing Kabbalah practice. I want to like go to one of the centers and learn about it. And I think it's good to be open, like how you're open to so many things like that too.
Well, most people don't know this, but my great-great-grandfather, he was the Baba Sali, and Baba Sali was from Morocco. And at the time when he lived in Morocco, it was only 4% Jews. It was mostly Muslims and Arabs. So he was teaching spirituality, not just to Jewish people. He was surrounded. I mean, my dad speaks Arabic.
Wow.
And Hebrew and English, and his English is worse than Hebrew and Arabic. So for me, I always thought to myself, okay, if the agenda is to teach spirituality at a root level for everyone and anyone, isn't that the point, that it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is? It's the foundation of having spiritual wisdom, which is applicable to anyone. And if we really care about people, and if we really want to do better, we can not just speak about things, we have to actually embody them. And by embodying it, we show people how to actually come together versus the opposite, which is hate and fear. And so much of what's happening in this world right now is people are just attacking each other with negativity, but we're all one. And I used to hear that and be like, oh, we're all one, and think it's like people just being like, let's light some incense and candles, which I love that stuff too.
Yeah.
We love that.
We have a coven.
We love that. You can come to
Tarot
my
Tuesdays.
house. We're all on the floor doing that. But we actually are all one because, again, we're all just fragments of energy. That's it.
I totally believe that. I mean, I think when it comes to like politics, that's one thing, but that's people, but a person is a person. There's a difference between the two. So I think when there's hatred between person to person, that to me is it's just so unaligned. You can learn, people have so much beauty, so many stories, so many layers, that if you just put something that's political on top of them and just frame them into something, that's not energy, that's not love.
And things are nuanced. Someone
Completely.
could feel a certain way, but you need to know them as a human being and all their layers. And even more so, isn't that the whole point of being on earth, is to spend time with people that don't necessarily look, act, and think like you?
Exactly.
I don't want to be around all Jewish women that just think like me. That's so boring to
I want
me.
to be around all Jewish women.
I'm like, I love it, but I want to be with women that don't think like me. Teach me something. Show me something.
Right.
Show me why you think that I'm wrong about this. That's exciting. And if more people could think like that, then their mind expands, which is, again, I think that's the whole point.
Completely. And I think it's also so interesting how you had two Muslim co-founders. Like, and this was kind of before, this was a while ago, right? That you
It was during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were investors. They're incredible men.
Regardless of what their religion is.
Regardless. I think in a past life, I was many times just predominantly in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've grown accustomed to being American and the way I speak. My mom's an English teacher. She was very neurotic about punctuation and articulation. So my English was very important to her. But my soul is so Israeli. My soul is so Middle Eastern. And in Israel, we're surrounded by not just Jews, it's Muslims, it's Arabs. In Jaffa, where my dad lives, his favorite restaurants are Arabic restaurants where women are in full hijab. and everyone's just hanging out, eating, talking shit to each other, and
You know what's interesting?
screaming.
I would never know that. I actually had a fear of would it be safe for me to go to Israel? And you were like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think it's, again, all these perceptions, but that's the whole thing. It's like we're fed a lot of things, but I think having the knowledge of, what's going on in the world, how different people can come together, how even, women can break boundaries, and even just the perceptions of who we are as people. Like, we come across as people who are super confident, which is true, but there's parts of us, layers of us that we're all still working on.
Yeah.
And I think that, even when people hear that, like, oh, you're working on self-love, like, I look like I love myself. Like, I do.
We do.
I do.
But
Trust me.
we're still human.
Still human, still working on the aspect of, fully finding value within myself without anything external is the hardest thing for me. And that is my tikkun. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And I think I'm just the beginning of that progress stage. So maybe that's my year of the horse transition I'm feeling.
Well, if you're saying that, it's coming from somewhere. So
exactly.
that's just
am
channeling.
I having the
You're
moment
just
right
having
now?
a channeled message. Yeah. That's your message.
And then just to slow down a little bit in a way, or finding things that I love. People are always telling me you got to slow down, but I'm like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to live my life to the fullest. If I have the time and the energy and I can bring people together, which is what I love doing, I might as well do it.
I can't wait to see who you end up with.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to see the best wedding. I'm saying we're going to have the best wedding ever.
Dual wedding. Jordan could be the
I wasn't even thinking about mine. Yeah. I was thinking about, I'm like, I am in that wedding. I will be a part of your wedding, and I'm so excited to be in it because you're going to end up with someone so special.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's going to be really cool.
It's been a long road, I think. And I think that that is probably again, I don't want to put it all onto that. I think finding, love within myself and just being happy the way I am is something that I've been working on this entire, I wake up every day excited about life, excited about the different opportunities. Even as a lawyer, who gets to sit here and be on a podcast with a friend who is all about personal growth and motivation? That's so different. So kind of going back to what you were saying about these limiting beliefs and people who are in their careers feeling stuck, looking at both of us, you can keep transitioning. Life is not linear, it's circular.
No, it's not.
There's so many things that you can do as long as you just open up the doors for yourself. And so that's something I'm working on, just being so present and so excited about my life every day and excited about what's going to happen next. So this chapter, transition, we'll see. Stay tuned. I could just be back here next year being like, oh, damn, I'm still here. What's new? Nothing much.
No, God forbid. To wrap things up, give us 3 pieces of advice for the 29-year-old version of you, whether she's a lawyer or not. Give her 3 pieces of advice of where she could go in order to be in your shoes. By the way, can you lift your shoes? In your shoes today. Look at these freaking shoes.
Can we even?
What in the beauty? They're insane. Loewe, right?
Loewe.
Ugh. 3 tips for a woman to get into these shoes and into this vessel.
What I love about shopping is you and I love a good luxury, but I love a discount too. Really
love a luxury and love a high-low moment.
A high-low moment. We love it. 3 pieces of advice. I've actually haven't been asked this question before, which is surprising. One piece of advice that I would give myself even before the 29-year-old version is to stop putting so much pressure on yourself to be perfect and stop performing. I think a lot of what I've done has been more performative in the past, and now I am who I am, and I'm much happier that way. So staying authentic to myself. I would also tell myself that you can make mistakes in life, and it's okay. And then also, you don't always have to be liked by the people you work with. I've had a lot of ups and downs with, my team members and learning lessons with clients and people I've trusted. I think that's been a hard lesson to learn, is that I don't always have to be liked or favorited. I could be the boss, and I can actually make things happen that way and learn to step into that. I think for my future self, I would like to see myself, looking back, like I said, a year from now, if we're sitting here, seeing all the things that I'm talking about, all the knowledge that I've had, and putting it into action. Just really seeing myself embodying the things that I want, and being not a more confident version of myself, but just a more self-assured version. So
I think that's beautiful. Where can we find you?
you can find me on social. It's just my first name and last name.
How do you spell it?
Ooh,
I know.
The nurse who wrote my name. I'll find her one day.
Between my real Hebrew name and your name, I'm like, I don't know. No one would figure it out.
It's spelled like Shermin, pronounced Shermin. It's SHERMIN.LAKHA. And I'm standing by that. I'm never going to change that. Shermin.Laka. I'm a big LinkedIn bitch. Instagram.
She's huge
TikTok.
on LinkedIn. You're like a freaking local celeb on LinkedIn.
I'm growing it. I'm
Yeah, it's a
actually
big
working
deal.
with more people, and for that
Smart.
to become more of a thought leader in that space, to
Smart.
really support women in what they want to do.
I love it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. This was so
and
exciting.
we're going to wrap up and get back to our personal combos too.
I know.